Well, it's hard to imagine there being a better venue for a high school football game. It's Canton Fawcett Stadium, and tonight it's host to the Division IV state semifinal. Hi, folks. Welcome to the WTOV9 High School Football Game of the Week. Ryan Recker alongside John Simonson. Bellaire and Cleveland Villa Angela St. Joseph's. John, these look like mirror images.
Well, that's a good point, Ryan. And the one thing you want to realize, this will be the quickest team that Bellaire has faced this year, according to head coach John Magistro. He also realizes his team has a size advantage. But let's look at the playmakers that they bring to the table. St. Joe has a quarterback in Matt Savelbar. He has thrown for over 2,300 yards, has rushed for 900, and a sophomore wideout. He's 6'5", David Leidy. And this kid is rated by some as the #1 sophomore prospect in the state of Ohio. Having said that, Ryan, Bellaire is playing the best defense it has played right now at this point of the season.
And you will meet the Bellaire Big Reds starting lineups plus the opening kickoff coming up right after this on the High School Football Game of the Week.
Thanks for watching the WTOV9 Game of the Week featuring the Bellaire Big Reds and the Villa Angela St. Joseph Vikings. The WTOV9 Game of the Week is brought to you by Frankovich, Anatakis, Colantonio and Simon, La Posta Oldsmobile, Guess Automotive Showroom, Robinson Law Office, Weirton Chiropractic Clinic, Ohio Valley Honda, Franciscan University of Steubenville, Danoon Lumber, True Value Hardware Stores, VaporJet, Borden Office Equipment, Apollo Professional Cleaning Services, Belmont Savings Bank, and Undos.
Welcome back to the High School Football Game of the Week. Bellaire taking on Cleveland Villa Angela St. Joseph's. The Big Reds taking on the Vikings for the Division IV state semifinals here tonight at Canton Fawcett Stadium. Time now to meet the starting lineup for Coach Magistro's Bellaire Big Reds.
Hey Davis, quarterback, West Bellaire Elementary.
Redman, running back, West Bellaire Elementary. Mike Fisher, running back, West Bellaire Elementary.
Brian Mancini, fullback, West Bellaire Elementary.
Ben Smith, fullback, West Bellaire. Antonio Gato, wide receiver, West Bellaire Elementary. Josh Fisher, wide receiver, First Ward School. Maurice Jeffries, wide receiver, Rosehill Elementary. Ryan Padgett, wide receiver, Neffs Elementary.
Scott Antonik, tight end, Neffs Elementary.
Adam Lucci, right tackle, West Bellaire.
Brice Dunlap, offensive guard, Rosehill Elementary.
Wayne Kroll, center, Neffs Elementary.
J.B. Johnson, offensive line, Rosehill Elementary. Dirk Soland, offensive guard, Neffs Elementary.
Adam Shallcross, offensive tackle, Neffs Elementary. Keith Seekers, punter, Neffs Elementary. Adam Lucci, tackle, West Bellaire. Adam Shallcross, defensive tackle, Neffs Elementary.
Maurice Jeffries, DB, Rosehill Elementary.
Cody Bruce, defensive tackle, Neffs Elementary.
Dirk Soland, defensive end, Neffs Elementary.
TJ Nay, defensive end, First Ward. Ryan Kaiser, outside linebacker, Neffs Elementary. Ben Smith, linebacker, First Ward.
Brian Mancini, linebacker, West Bellaire Elementary. Scott Antonik, outside linebacker, Neffs Elementary.
Josh Fisher, corner, First Ward School.
Mike Fisher, free safety, West Bellaire Elementary.
Keith Seekers, kicker, Neffs Elementary.
And there they are, the Bellaire Big Reds. They will kick off tonight in front of a large crowd here at Canton Fawcett Stadium. John Simonson joining me tonight in the booth. A perfect night for football here. Unseasonably warm, John. We're in short sleeves here in late November.
Well, and some of the crowd even in shorts as well. Good contingent here from Bellaire. St. Joseph did win the toss. No deferral here tonight. They want the football immediately. They have the team speed, and they want to see how they match up offensively against Bellaire. So we shall see Bellaire in the white uniforms tonight.
And the junior Seacrest, there you see him, number 88, has it teed up. The wind may or may not play a factor tonight. As of now, looking at the goalpost, there's no wind playing a factor at the moment.
The #1 high school sports venue in the nation, according to the Sporting News when they made this story back in year 2002.
And you can certainly see why, and it'll be showcased here on our high school football game of the week tonight. So they're waiting for the signal to boot it away. The winner goes on to play up the road in Massillon next Saturday at 3:30 for the Ohio Division IV state final. The Bellaire crowd on its feet. And Seacrest has this Division IV state semi underway. A bouncer to the 15-yard line. Picked up crossing the 20, and he's got the corner, crossing the 35, and a nice return across midfield into Bellaire territory at the 45-yard line. That's Anthony Ramos, who we'll see in the backfield tonight for the Vikings. Nifty return, and the Vikings are in business. They're going to officially spot him out of bounds at the Bellaire 49.
Well, not only did we see what speed he can do, last week, very first play of the game, he went 87 yards for a touchdown, but you saw the fact that there was some pretty good blocking there.
Savelbar and Kostranchik, Subel, Ramos, Leidy, and Hoover up front for the Vikings. There you take a look at them. They will spread it out, and they do it here on first down. Out of the shotgun, and now they'll pitch it to Ramos. Looking for a block, got some room, and you see that speed again as he nears the 40-yard line. He's bottled up there and finally wrestled down at about the 42.
Well, TJ Ney and Scott Antonik got over there, but right away, St. Joseph is going to see who can win the race to the sideline, to the corner.
And certainly the turf will be a factor. Ney, Shallcross, Bruce, and Soland up front for Bellaire. The linebackers, Antonik, Smith, and Mancini. And in the secondary, Fisher, Jeffries, Kaiser, and Mike Fisher. Mike and Josh both out there. They will be tested tonight. Now they will bunch things in. 3 in the backfield on 2nd and 2 from the 41. And Ben Smith in there to disrupt things as the give was to Vicente Anastasi out of the backfield, but 144 met another, and Bellaire won that battle.
Well, Ben Smith playing middle linebacker, got the penetration. And you know, Ryan, we hear so much about the Bellaire offense, and here's the dome replay. And there is the handoff, and it looked like Savelbar held on to it just a little bit too long, and you don't do that against big old Ben Smith, that's for sure.
So it's 3rd and 4 from the 43. Similar formation. They got Jeffries locked up out there on the corner. This is Ramos looking for the first down, spinning. He will be close. They need about the 39-yard line. He reached just across the 40 at first look. I don't think he has it, John.
Well, Cody Bruce got in there, so did Mike Fisher. He looked short. The guy to watch for long distance is number 10, David Leidy. He's the heralded sophomore. He is 6'5", 185. They haven't gone to him yet. And there's the blocking of Anastasi. But there, as you can see, Cody Bruce got a hold of the legs and got some help.
So the first gamble of the night with 9:45 and counting here in the first. 4th and less than a yard for the Vikings. 3 in the backfield with Leidy split out. And keep in mind, Savelbar has rushed for a lot of yards this season. He could keep it and does. Pushes ahead, and he will have the first down apparently. Although Bellaire's fans signifying that he was stopped short. But it looks like he will move the sticks, but they will bring the chains on. So maybe I spoke too soon. Looked like at first he had it, but we'll check the measurement.
Savelbar, a 5'10", 175 senior. As you mentioned, Ryan has rushed for a lot of yards, 880 on the season. And he likes to carry the football as well. And that was just a straight ahead, nothing fancy about that quarterback sneak. I can get you the yard. He barely does.
So they got it at the 39-yard line. And we've heard about this passing attack, and they've, Tom Schoen and company have decided to keep it on the ground here in the initial series of this game.
Schoen in his 8th year here at St. Joe. Previous coach, Gutbrod, was here 41 years. That's a heck of a mark.
Back to the spread. Savelbar on a long count. Gets rid of it, and out here, what a hit by Mike Fisher. Catch was made, not sure how he hung on to it. Number 25, that is C.J. Kostranchik, but Mike Fisher eyed him up and laid him right to the turf.
Well, that's one that you really like, and let's look at the replay as Michael Fisher will give you a good thud right here. They had a lot of movement on that. And
oh, that's textbook. Picked up 3, 2nd and 7. As you take a look at it on the Doan Ford Lincoln Mercury instant replay from the 36. Savelbar on a short drop goes to the outside, and he's got his man complete inside the 30 and out of bounds at about the 25-yard line as he hooks up with Eddie Subel. So they like to spread it around. You see a lot of guys here, John, touching the football for this Vikings offense.
Well, one of the interesting matchups as we look at this replay, Eddie Subel, who is one of their leading receivers with 400 yards, you know, he's open over there. All he has to do is haul this one in and try to get the first down, which he does.
They'll mark it at the 25, 1st and 10. So after running the ball on their first set of downs, they come out here with back-to-back passes. Still in the shotgun is Savelbar. Time now flushed to this side and completes it across the middle. With the catch is number 27, that's Robert Tillery, the 5'7" junior. Nice job there by Savelbar to get out of pressure and get rid of the football.
Well, what Bellaire wants to do as we look at the Doan Ford instant replay, Savelbar rolling out. Now he's going to stop and then throw back against his body, and sometimes those are picked off, but they had 2 receivers in the same area, and Tillery come up with it. But what Bellaire wanted to do, Ryan, was keep Savelbar in the pocket.
And they got 9 yards on that, so 2nd and 1 from the 16. Ramos bumps in motion.
Good matchup at the bottom of the screen there, and they're going to throw
Fake by Savelbar, goes end zone, and way too much on that one out of the back of the end zone. Locked up in coverage out there was Josh Fisher and Kostranchik. Brings up a 3rd and 1.
They had single coverage. Maurice Jeffries defensively was in the face of David Leidy. Now Jeffries at 6 foot, Leidy at 6'5", and they were not going to give him any room whatsoever.
So Bellaire held on 3rd and short moments ago.
Now Jeffries will follow at the top of the screen, and again tight coverage on Leidy.
Leidy the only man split with 3 in the backfield. Go to the ground, and that'll be a first down. Pushing across the 15 to the 14-yard line is Anastasi. So they continue to get it to different players on this offense. Scott Antonik made the stop for Bellaire, but not before the Vikings have another first down.
Already they've whittled 4:40 off of the clock on this opening drive. And there you see just an effort to get the first down. And look at that offensive line surge. I mean, you've got 4 blue shirts already beyond.
Not a big bunch either.
No, they go 240, 220, and 180 from guard to guard. Tackles 220, and Skurdik, of course, the big kid at 6 foot 310.
Back to the gun for Savelbar. Feels pressure, gets rid of it. Complete sliding catch inside the 5 at the 4. That's Kostranchik again. And it'll be close to another first down. Another look at it on the Doan Ford Lincoln Mercury instant replay.
Watch Savelbar. I mean, he's not locked in on any one receiver. Bellaire almost got a hand on that. And again, we see 2 receivers in the same area. Kind of unusual.
Now we were at the game last week, John. We saw Coshocton in the early going last week have some success against Bellaire. They moved the football but came up empty, and they're just going to be shy of this first down, so it'll be 2nd and that much for the Vikings. But Bellaire hung tough there, and it was, I think, important last week not to let Coshocton get that first score of the game.
Well, in the 3 playoff games, Bellaire has allowed only 4 touchdowns. And, you know, anytime you can do that approaching the state semifinals, you have to be very satisfied. Now, Bellaire has not been able to get pressure on Savelbar. The problem is, if you gamble and try to put the pressure on him, he's so good that he's even more dangerous if he gets away from that pressure and goes outside. He's a threat to keep it.
So back to action, 2nd and 1 from the 4. That's Ramos again in motion. Savelbar up the middle, dives ahead. He'll have the first down to about the 2-yard line. And the Vikings will have a fresh set of downs, 1st and goal.
Ben Smith on that surge, but still a first down. There you see Smith fighting off the block and able to get in there with that tackle.
So now the Bellaire defense backed up. And remember, this has been a short field for the Vikings, started at the Bellaire 49-yard line. Lighty will be split. Again, 3 in the backfield for Savelbar. And he gives it to Ramos, who will surge ahead but won't get much. A yard maybe. Mancini 36 in there. Antonik 29 as well. And look like
Michael Fisher
in there. Mike Fisher.
Mike Fisher. And Ramos is 5'10", 185. And they've moved him out of there pretty good. He might have been better off going outside, but he tried to just sneak behind that lead block of Franklin Frazier, big 6'2", 220 junior.
No official gain, 2nd and goal from the 2. Ramos again, this time he's in for the touchdown. So the Vikings, not a long drive, but very time consuming, as 5:25 is left on the clock, and it's Anthony Ramos, the man who broke open the opening kickoff across midfield, now gets the payoff, a 2-yard touchdown run.
Again, following the lead block of that fullback, if you saw the path that Vicente Anastasi, as it's pronounced both ways, he just followed that blocking right into the end zone.
Now the extra point from Anastasi himself. The lefty puts it through. And the Vikings take the opening drive down and hit pay dirt. 7-0 lead on the Undo scoreboard. We're back with more first quarter action after this. Back at Canton Fawcett Stadium, 7-0. Cleveland Villa Angela St. Joseph's leading Bellaire on the Undo scoreboard. And John, thinking here during the break, this Vikings offense reminds you a lot like Bellaire. You know, they can run it and they can throw it. And we talked about mirror images in the pregame, and certainly the Vikings laying some credence to that theory here in the opening drive.
Well, the other thing that they've been doing well the latter half of the season especially is putting together time-consuming drives, 6, 7, 8 minutes. And Savelbar didn't do a whole lot running the football. He threw it effectively. We haven't seen Lighty catch the ball, but they were very, very methodic about this. And anytime you have a drive, 6.5 minutes, and you only had to go half the field, coaches usually are pretty happy with that.
So here's Anastasi with the Fishers back deep. Off the bounce at the 20, it is Josh Fisher with it. Tries to dance through, and he'll be corralled at the 25-yard line. Good downfield coverage by the Vikings. So Bellaire will get their first crack at it here in the first quarter. Nate Davis, the outstanding sophomore, Smith and Redman behind him. Padgett, Jeffries, and Fisher can all catch it, and a lot of playmakers on this offense. Shallcross, Dunlap, Crawl, Soland, and Lucci are up front.
Bellaire averaging 28 points a game, giving up 14. St. Joseph scoring at 24, allowing 17.
Davis will have 2 sidecars on first down, and it's the give to Mike Fisher. See if he can turn on that speed, crossing the 40 and brought down at the 43. 18 yards on first down. You knew that certainly a threat for Fisher. We list him as a wideout, John, but quite often with the injuries to Redman, they're going to sneak him into the backfield.
Well, Fisher will take the handoff, and he doesn't need much of a seam because he's not one of these big type of backs. He just needs to get through a couple of defenders, and he does it without contact, as the defense, a lot of times, they're used to tackling a big guy.
And Bellaire quickly up to the line. Fisher's second carry of the night, trying to turn in the corner on the right side. Couple on this play as the Vikings do a better job that time on him. Number 25 in on the stop for Cleveland Villa Angela St. Joseph's. That's C.J. Kostranchik. 2 yards on that carry.
Fisher has rushed in the 3 playoff games close to 400 yards, including 200 last week.
So here are the Vikings. They're up 4-3 defense up front. And there's a fumble on the play. Ball loose. And there will be a scurry for it, and the Vikings will have it. So Bellaire problems with the snap. Number 34 of the Vikings, that's Chris McMichael, snatches it up, and just when it looked like Bellaire was going to come back and possibly respond with a positive opening drive, it's turned over. As we take another look at it on the Doan Ford Lincoln Mercury instant replay, Nate Davis just not ready for the snap.
Well, that certainly was ugly. It was snapped early. Davis wasn't ready. Nevertheless, it just hit him in the side of the helmet, and St. Joe back in business. With another short field at the Bellaire 44. First drive started at the Big Reds 49. Savelbar complete to the 38. Hooking up again with Eddie Subel. Good coverage, though, on the play. Yeah, Josh Fisher came up, and Brian Mancini, playing outside linebacker, also aided on that. Savelbar having all kind of times to throw the football. He's not a big guy, you know. And that was in a crowd. I mean, Bellaire had that well covered. He drilled it right in there. And they'll spread everybody out here. 3-on-3 at the top of the screen. Time again. Now flushed. Mancini with pressure, and he just gets rid of it. That was good defense by Bellaire. Mancini put the pressure on. Lighty, his instincts, it looked like he wanted to run the football, but Bellaire, once they flushed him from the pocket, used the sideline to their advantage. And they've done the job on Lighty so far. We haven't called his name in terms of a catch yet, but that concentration on him may be opening things up for some other guys. It'll be a 3rd and 4 from the 38. And not to overstate things, John, but this is a huge play for this Bellaire defense early on. Interesting to see what St. Joseph will call here. Lighty in motion. Savelbar fakes it. Time and room, and it is incomplete along the far sideline as he wanted his man against Subel, who could not reel it in along that sideline, out of bounds, and 4th down, and every indication is that the Vikings will go for it. Let's check out the Doan Ford Lincoln Mercury instant replay. Savelbar, again, looking pass all the way, finds his receiver, letting just too much, the official right on the spot. That was ruled incomplete. And now the big 4th down. Following the turnover, Bellaire trying to get it back on downs. Lighty in motion. You need to watch the hard count. Savelbar, draw play and met. And brought down. Cody Bruce. Big old Cody Bruce, and just like that, Bellaire with good field position, Ryan, just where they turned it over about a minute and a half ago. So the turnover basically is nullified as Cody Bruce comes in and disrupts things here as Mr. Ramos met him head on head, and big number 75 and White won this battle. Savelbar didn't really sell that deep handoff very well. So Bellaire will take over just 3 yards shy of where they had it before they fumbled it. Here's Davis to Mancini on the carry, and he'll bounce ahead for a couple on 1st down inside of 3:30 and counting here in quarter number 1. Bellaire yet to throw the football, trailing only 7-0 right here, but what an impressive opening drive that was, converting several 3rd down opportunities earlier for St. Joseph. And you can't underscore enough how big that was for Bellaire to hold the Vikings on 4th down there and get the football back. Davis will give it to Mancini again, up the middle, crosses the 45 to about the 47. And now it'll be 3rd down for the Big Reds. The inside linebacker, Anastasi, coming up big again, but he had to hold on to Mancini. You see Anastasi actually finishing him off. 3rd and 4, could see the first Bellaire throw of the night. Davis
On the step up, trying to go to Antonio Dalto, but it's incomplete as the safety came over to bump him, and Bellaire will have to punt.
Just a little bit beyond the reach of Dalto. Again, Bellaire having one practice on artificial surface this week, and that was the indoor facility at WVU. As we look at the replay, and as you can see, almost, but that doesn't count.
Seacrest at his 34. The Vikings with 2 men back deep. They are Ramos and Kostranchik.
Ramos, who returned the opening kickoff. We're going to have a delay of the game.
It looks like we will.
Flag thrown by the back judge.
Looks like Bellaire only had 10 men on the field. Now the 11th will come on, so Big Reds will be moved back 5 to the 42, which means Seacrest will drift back to his 28.
You know, you go back to that stop that Bellaire had on, stopping St. Joe on 4th down. I mean, you talk about a confidence builder.
Seacrest, nice spiral. Caught at the 25 and down at the 26 was Kostranchik. 2:24 left in the first. On the Undo scoreboard, Vikings lead the Big Reds 7-0. We're back with more from Fawcett Stadium after this. Back at Fawcett Stadium, 1st down and 10. Savelbar with the pitch to Ramos, bottled up at the 28-yard line. As it looked like he had some daylight there, but it closed quickly. Scott Antonik, Mike Fisher in there, along with number 31, TJ Ney for Bellaire.
TJ Ney, very outstanding defensive end for Bellaire. Gets over there quickly once he sees the play. Ramos hesitated just a moment there as if he was going to throw the football, but here's Cody Bruce. Antonik's had a standout year. Michael Fisher was over there as well.
They gave him 2, so it's 2nd and 8 from the 29. Minute 45 and counting here in quarter number 1. Savelbar steps up to the middle of the field, and it's complete. Sliding across midfield with the catch is Kostranchik, and he has been the big thorn in the side for Bellaire tonight.
And he lines up often as a running back. You got to give Savelbar credit there. That was a gutsy throw because he wasn't completely wide open, and a lot of confidence. He hangs in the pocket, and as you can see, that ball had to be right on the money. I mean, it was low. Bellaire didn't have a chance to intercept it, but a lot of confidence out of Savelbar.
Yep, put it right where he had to. So it's at the 48 of Bellaire as the Vikings are on the move again. They'll fake it on the ground. Savelbar has it. Trying to break free, and he does. Crossing the 35, inside the 30. Maurice Jeffries will finally push him out at the 25. It develops slowly, John, but I'm not sure that Bellaire knew who had the football from the get-go, and Savelbar just kind of snuck free, and he ends up picking up 23 yards.
Well, let's look at the Doan Ford Lincoln Mercury instant replay. And as you can see, one tackle gets away from Cody Bruce, who actually got knocked off accidentally on that play, and Savelbar doing what he likes to do. He's rushed, as we mentioned, close to 900 yards.
Ryan Padgett also down there to try to track him down. As 2 big plays now have moved the Vikings into Bellaire territory at the 25.
St. Joe with the football, 8.5 minutes already in this quarter.
Complete again. Trying to bounce it. And down at the 12-yard line is Subel. So Kostranchik and Subel have been the 2 main targets for Savelbar here. And that's 13 more yards and another Vikings first down. Here's the Doan Ford Lincoln Mercury instant replay.
Again, Savelbar knows exactly where he's going to throw. Good route run by Subel. And picks up extra yardage after the catch. You saw Fisher over there along with Mancini for Bellaire.
35 seconds and counting here. Bellaire to the middle again, sliding again, and another catch. This one at the 3-yard line, caught by Robert Tillery. So they continue to just spread it out and go to different guys. Each down, someone else is touching the football.
When you talk about threading a needle, Bellaire has just been amazing in this first quarter. Again, he's throwing it low. And that was a pretty good catch. That wasn't a pretty good catch. That was an outstanding catch on the slide.
But again, putting it where Bellaire can't get it, not even have a chance to intercept it. They can still get a first down. It'll be 2nd and 2 from the 4 as quarter number 1 expires. Well, the Vikings have dominated the time of possession here in the first quarter. They're on the move again to start the second. 7-0 on the Undo scoreboard as they lead Bellaire after 1 here at Canton. Hi folks, hope you're enjoying the Big Red Benedictine game. The winner of this will take on the Canton Wildcats in the other Division III state semi. Canton knocked off Licking Valley 42-21. West Virginia Class A Wheeling Park season comes to an end. They lose to Parkersburg South 24-3. 3 games tomorrow here locally. Bellaire takes on Cleveland Villa Angela St. Joseph's. It's our high school football game of the week in Ohio. In West Virginia, Weir High travels to Bluefield at 1:30. Wheeling Central also 1:30 takes on Moorfield. Noon here on WTOV 9, Ohio State and Michigan. John Magistro and company down 7-0 following 1 quarter of play on the Undo scoreboard. And the look on his face, maybe a little bit worried right now, Coach Magistro, as the Vikings are knocking on the door again, and they've showed no signs of having any problems offensively, with the exception of being stopped on that second series for the Vikings on 4 downs.
Well, Coach Magistro in his 19th year at Bellaire has won 147 games, has lost just 68, and Bellaire in the state semifinals, Ryan, for the 4th time in 9 years.
So it'll be 2nd and 2 from the 4, and we'll see what the Vikings do here. Bellaire,
he's 8 out of 11 for 82 yards. And St. Joe with 7 first downs, Bellaire with just 1, but St. Joe has had the ball much of this game.
Kostranchik is in motion. And now a timeout as the Vikings want to talk things over before the second quarter begins.
You know, Ryan, both of these teams, the schools I should say, have a long history of athletic success. Now, of course, Bellaire, the professionals they've had over a dozen of them. Of course, Ben Taylor with the Browns, Joey Galloway of Dallas, Lance Mell. We've had John Buddenberger, Ron Lee, Andy Doris with the Oilers, and Clyde Thomas with the Eagles. But, you know, St. Joe, they've had...
Start reading them off.
Well, right now, London Fletcher with the St. Louis Rams. They, as teammates, Elvis Gerbach and Desmond Howard were teammates here in 1987. The Golics, Mike Golick, and of course Bob Golick, who was with the Browns for a while, he played here. The coach, Tom Shane, in his 8th year was a defensive back at Notre Dame, I think like a 3rd-team All-American, and also played for the Browns. Professional basketball, Clark Kellogg was here. You know, what's ironic about those names that I read off, of all the state championships in the sports that St. Joe has won, none of those guys played on any of those.
That's amazing. That is one amazing stat. The combination of Gerbach and Howard on the same team don't win the state title, they win it the year after. So here we go. 2nd and 2 from the 4. They'll give it to Ramos, has their first touchdown tonight. Late flag comes in. That'll be that'll come from the back as Ramos dove ahead and looked like he had the first down, but we're going to hold things up here for a moment and check the marker.
Face mask.
Not a personal foul, so the 5-yard variety. Either way, it'll be 1st and goal inside the 1 for the Vikings.
It's a 5-inch penalty when you consider half the distance. Good penetration by Ney to force Ramos inside, where he got some help, but they don't need a whole lot now. 1st down in inches. Think St. Joe ever fumbles or turns it over in these situations?
Not likely. So Bellaire will keep it. and he'll slide in for the touchdown. So this drive, a lengthier one, started at their own 26-yard line. Got a couple of big plays, one big pass, one big run. Next thing you know, the Vikings are back in the end zone, up 13-0, pending this extra point.
Savelbar just follows. Well, actually, he went over the left guard. He went over the sophomore, Master Birdie.
Here's Anastasi for the extra point. Good penetration there, and a late flag will come in as Cody Bruce may have run into Anastasi as he puts the extra point through, so 14-0. And another flag here, apparently on the Big Reds.
Well, Bellaire now having its work cut out for them, down 14-0. I believe they were behind Ironton for much of the game before they rallied as well. But St. Joseph, the speed, overall team speed, Ryan, certainly shows out here tonight. And we haven't even had an opportunity to see what Bellaire can do offensively, because that drive there was 4 minutes, and their first drive was 6:35. It means Bellaire has had the football slightly more than 2 minutes.
The first possession, fumble. The second one, 3 and out. So now Coach Magistro and company, as you mentioned, in a hole, 14-0. But let's see now if they can put a drive together, and if nothing else, just turn the tide on the field position and try to pick up a couple first downs and keep that Viking offense off the field, which I think may be Bellaire's best defensive strategy at the moment.
St. Joseph started the year off 0-2, losing to Bellevue and Chard Notre Dame. But if you look down through their schedule, they lost to Benedictine 30-10, and another big win. First round of the playoffs, they beat Cardinal Mooney 26-20, so they've beaten some bigger teams along the way. They've played a very difficult schedule. Their opponent's one-loss mark is 93-49. Bellaire's is just about as good. Their opponents are 87-55.
So the Fishers just at about their own 2-yard line, as the penalty on Cody Bruce for the personal foul will have the Vikings kicking off at the Bellaire 45-yard line. So here's Anastasi, see what he tries to do with it, and he'll try to kick it deep. Mike Fisher at the goal line. Little problem on the pickup, and how about Anastasi comes down and makes the tackle at the 12.
Well, Fisher with a nice reverse. I thought that would throw off St. Joseph, but again, that speed of the Vikings coming into play there.
So Bellaire, 1st and 10, third possession of the night. This one will start. It'll be their worst starting position of the night. This will be at their own 12-yard line. Nate Davis and company back on the field. And as we talked about, really haven't been able to showcase what they can do so far here this evening, because the Vikings have had the football for the majority of this ball game. This is Fisher, bottled up just as he crosses the line of scrimmage. 54 in there for the Vikings is John Zazar.
Stazar, actually.
Stazar.
That's the one where it starts with a Z, Ryan, and we spent all this time, and it goes Stazar. And he's one of the two guys that they like on defense. He's a defensive end, and also number 34, Chris McMichael.
Well, Davis will switch things up. Mike Fisher shifts to a tight end. Maurice Jeffries now will be in the slot. On 2nd and 10, Davis to the middle. Complete to Fisher, across the 25, across the 30, and Bellaire will have a first down. Out to the 33-yard line. Nifty looking play there as Fisher from that tight end spot makes the grab and has Bellaire in pretty good field position at the 33.
Well, you watch Fisher, a slight delay, and that area was cleared out when Jeffries took Lighty deep.
Fisher's so dangerous. Here's Davis, complete to Jeffries, diving forward to the 42. So Bellaire, they'll continue to go to that no-huddle offense. Quick look on the Doan Ford Lincoln Mercury instant replay.
Davis got rid of it just in time. Good tight spiral. Jeffries going down low for it, 2nd and 1. Talk about getting out of a hole in a hurry.
Back to the ground, Fisher tries to spin to the first down. And this will be close. We'll check the spot here. First down marker at about the 43.5. And he's got it, first down. So Bellaire, that's what we said, move the sticks, and they've done that.
Davis on the year, 2,243 yards, 24 touchdowns, has been intercepted only 6 times.
There's Fisher. Redman looking for a block for him, and Fisher will have another first down into Viking territory at the 43-yard line. So there's no secret who Bellaire wants to get involved here tonight. Mike Fisher, most of their offensive yardage so far this evening. Here's the Doan Ford Lincoln Mercury instant replay.
Fisher got a good block, and as he goes outside number 67, Clifton Onenwar couldn't believe how quick Mike Fisher was as he got around him.
He's a speedster. There aren't many faster, at least in the Ohio Valley, than number 7 in white. First and 10, 9:40 and counting here before halftime. Davis, they got Fisher's number this time.
I think that was Stazar in there.
That is Stazar, 54, as they faked it to Redman and gave it to Fisher, but nothing doing that time, as they're going to take a sizable loss of about 5 on that play.
Well, the series of fakes right here, and that was just enough time for Stazar to come in again from the defensive end position.
Official loss of 4, second and 14 now from the 47. Davis, complete. Jeffries bobbled it for a moment, but hangs on and surges forward to the 38, where it'll be 3rd and 5 for the Big Reds, who, in all honesty, are in 4-down territory.
Big cushion, 8 yards Lighty gives Jeffries, and by the time the Lighty realized that Jeffries is going to come back for him, you saw right there that Jeffries had all kind of room as you see the defenders still giving the 3 Bellaire wideouts about 8 yards.
Davis, pressure off the corner, flushed, on the run, complete. Josh Fisher right at the sticks. We're going to see what forward progress they're going to give him.
Ryan, that was an outstanding second and third effort by Josh Fisher, because I don't believe he had the first down.
Now he does, though.
When he was hit.
It was right at the sticks. And here we go in the Doan Ford Lincoln Mercury instant replay.
There you can see the outside linebacker, Kostrancic, putting pressure on Davis. He shakes it off. Here's Fisher. Fisher didn't quite have the first down, but second effort, and now the third effort right there gets him a first down.
So here's Bellaire on the move at the 32, 1st and 10. Redman, first carry. No, Davis off the fake. Nate Davis inside the 10 and bounced out of bounds at the 6-yard line. I was totally faked out, John.
Well, they've stuck it in the belly of a running back virtually every play. That time, Nate pulled it out and was down the right sideline. See the fake, which, as you can see, sold Stazar. He had no clue that Davis had the football.
My goodness, was that pretty.
That fake, Stazar was still going after the running back by the time he realized that Nate was on the move.
1st and goal at the 5. This time they will give it to Redman, who's ahead for a couple.
Well, what more can you say about Brock Redman? I mean, you talk about a guy that wants to play. Yeah, that's just amazing.
Torn ACL early in the year against Wheeling Park. Comes back and battles back in and out of action. Went out of the Martins Ferry game. Everyone thought that's it for him for the season. And then he's back last week against Coshocton, scoring a big touchdown in the regional championship. From the 3. Mike Fisher is in for the touchdown.
Well, Ryan, what a turn of events. Just a couple of moments ago, they were in a hole, down 14-0.
At their own 14.
Backed up and in dire straits. And all of a sudden, it took about 3 minutes to navigate those 86 yards. Mike Fisher. And Fisher cuts inside. The block by Adam Lucci right there. Lucci blocked out 2 Vikings on this play. And what a run by Fisher. He read it well.
Mike Fisher, the horse on that drive. Seacrest, the extra point is through. Fisher caught it, Fisher ran it, and he got the Big Reds on the scoreboard. 14-7 as Bellaire has cut into the Vikings lead on the Undo scoreboard. John Magistro and company with 7:30 left here before halftime, down 7. Back at Canton Fawcett Stadium, 14-7. Cleveland Villa Angela St. Joseph's leading Bellaire on the Undo scoreboard. Bellaire just responding, and we said it, John, let's give them a chance. Let's let them settle in, give them a chance to put a drive together, and look what they can do. They can strike right back, and they did it, but now it's their defense, and I think their defense is going to be the key to them winning this game tonight.
Well, also, Bellaire has to address the return game, because on the opening kickoff, Ramos had a big return, and then I believe it was Kostranchik on the punt with a nice setup. Bellaire fans here, Ryan, we got here early, and the Bellaire fans were lined up waiting to get in here as expected.
And if there's any doubt about who has more fans here tonight, there's a shot. That'll tell you the story. Bellaire sideline. We'll pan it on over.
And no, that's not St. Joe's end.
That's
No,
not St. Joe's
St.
end.
Joe. They're on the home side. Bellaire really dominating the crowd here.
Beautiful facility here, and now Ryan Padgett will try to get the Bellaire faithful on the far sideline enthused for Keith Seacrest, who will line it down to Ramos on the bounce at the 13.
Good coverage.
And met at the 20.
That's what we need. Ramos hesitated, and there with a smile was Luke Sulek.
Yep. Another look at it on the Doane Ford Lincoln Mercury instant replay.
Ramos thinks there's going to be a little seam right there, and by that time, it was too late. Good coverage over there. Well, we just mentioned that's one thing that they had to shore up, and they sure did in a hurry. 7:23 to go in the first half.
And now this defensive unit has to figure out Savelbar and his plentiful choice of weapons here. Out of the shotgun. He's going to tuck it and keep it, but it's only going to get a couple. Scott Antonik had him eyed up, and he held him to about a gain of 2.
Well, that was a key play right there by Antonik, because, you know, he didn't hit him direct on. He actually got an arm around him, thought maybe he was going to get some help, and it wasn't quite there. That was a huge play as Antonik, Savelbar, sold this quarterback keeper. And as you see, Antonik right there, if he breaks out of that tackle, he could cut back and picked up 4 or 5 more yards.
They gave him 3, so it's 2nd and 7 from the 23. Pressure up the middle was picked up, incomplete along the near side as he went to Joe Vaccaro, the 6-foot junior. So for the first time tonight, we're going to see St. Joe's in a 3rd and long situation, 3rd and 7.
And I believe that's the first time that Bellaire brought the blitz, and that was Antonik with the pressure, and he got in there and forced that quick throw. I think it caught Savelbar by surprise. Good defensive call by the Bellaire coaching staff.
There's Andrew Bobka, 15. We'll see what Bellaire will come with now. Antonik showing blitz, but they'll just rush 3. Savelbar crossing pattern, incomplete. Good coverage there. He wanted DeJuan Hoover. So Bellaire has held, John, 3 and out.
Well, you can't thread the needle every time and hit the hole on the first try. Savelbar, giving credit, hung in there, but the good defense, double team. Josh Fisher will come from the right side. Antonik will drop back, and not any room there. 3 and out.
Yep, excuse me, John. It appears that Bellaire will get good field position. Josh Fisher at the 40, Mike Fisher at about his own 47. Off the punt. Not high, but it's going to take a nice Vikings bounce and be downed at about the Bellaire 38-yard line. So the 2 points we hit on, Special teams coverage and defense both holding true for Bellaire as they'll get the football back with 6:26 left here before halftime.
Well, Bellaire is finally getting the football and starting to control the game offensively. They just didn't have the football at all, and in the first quarter fell behind 14-0.
And now the pressure goes to the St. Joe's defense. Davis, go ahead, John.
They got to keep an eye on Davis for running the football now.
Looks like the Vikings may have jumped. Encroachment. As looked like contact was made. So Bellaire will get a 5-yard freebie.
Well, by the time this is shown on TV, Ryan, we will have known, the audience will have known who the winner will play, whether it's Versailles or will it be Delta. You certainly have heard of the pedigree of Versailles. That was that 50-45 double overtime game in '95.
This is Redman, second carry, crossing the 45 to the 46 on 1st and 5.
We were talking to Brock Redman before the game, and he was stretched out on the trainer's table there, and I was asking him, what kind of shoes would you wear here? And Coach Magistro was standing there and saying, you know, each player is different. They can't wear spikes. Some are wearing turf shoes. But Joey Galloway sent Brock Redman 4 different pairs.
Not a bad guy to be sending you shoes.
No.
There's Brock. Second and a short 3, just across the 45. Davis going to throw it, and it's dropped. In and out of the hands of Maurice Jeffries.
Took his eye off of it just for a moment. Lighty on the coverage. Now, what they're trying to do here, Lighty's still giving Jeffries a cushion. As you can see, he looked just as the ball arrived. But they're trying to suck Lighty up a little bit and then send Jeffries deep.
Davis tipped at the line, and he went to catch it, but it fell incomplete.
On 3rd and 3.
Yep, Stazar, number 54, got his hands on it. And you got to look at that drop right now as being a crucial point, because that would have been a first down, but now it's 4th down for Bellaire.
Look at that elevation by number 54, John Stazar. He's 6'2", he's a 220-pound senior, and that's about the 3rd big play that guy's made tonight.
So 3 and out for Bellaire following a 1st and 5 opportunity. High snap to Seacrest, but spirals it down at the 15, and dropping at the 16 is Kostranchik. 5:33 left before halftime here at Canton Fawcett Stadium. 14-7. The Vikings lead the Big Reds on the Undo scoreboard. Back with more after this. Back on a beautiful night for football here in late November. Cleveland Villa Angela St. Joseph's leading Bellaire 14-7 on the Undo scoreboard. Ryan Recker alongside John Simonson. Seems to be a dispute on the field following that Keith Seacrest punt, which the Vikings fielded at their own 16-yard line. It looks like the Bellaire punting unit will come back on here, John.
It's going to be 4th down again. We'll see what this call is. Apparently against Bellaire, and St. Joe's going to make them kick again.
And that's a 10-yard penalty for an illegal block in the back. So now Seacrest will kick it away from his 22 with the ball spotted just across the 35.
Still 5.5 to go in the first half. 14-7, St. Joseph.
Ramos and Kostranchik off another high snap. This will be an end-over-end punt bouncing at the 37, and it'll take a Bellaire roll at the 24-yard line. So they lost what the penalty was, just about 10 yards off that, but still a good punt by Seacrest. And he got a nice roll on the turf.
Good placement. That's one of those, if you're a receiving team, that's one of those kicks. It lands first on artificial surface. You're not sure of the what type of bounce it's going to take, and it's so risky, so they were forced to let that roll.
So now the Vikings back on offense. They were held to a 3 and out on their last possession. Long count for Savelbar. And he snuck it in there. Completes it again to Subel.
I'll say this.
You can't blame the coverage there.
I'll say this for Savelbar. He's got the confidence and the courage to throw that in there. You can see, I mean, if that's left or right, 6 inches, it could be a Bellaire interception.
Not only the guy on coverage, but their guys closing as well. That have opportunities, if that ball, as you said, isn't on the money, to break it up or intercept it. Got 6, so it's 2nd and 4 at the 30.
See if Bellaire guesses run right here.
And it is a run. Savelbar is going to keep it himself, dancing across the 35, trying to break free, but tripped up at the 45, but not before he has a Vikings first down, and he's proving to be elusive on the ground.
Well, he got a good block on the outside and had some early daylight. Savelbar. You can see that block he got right there, and then another one coming up here, and he cuts inside of it. Little good change of pace there. Michael Fisher coming up, who's knocked out of balance. But Tony Skurdik was number 77. Right there, as you saw, he's the big kid. He's 6 foot 310. Three-man front for Bellaire.
Savelbar, time again, pumps twice, and now just gets rid of it along the near sideline.
And again, Cody Bruce applying the pressure for Bellaire. A good coverage out there. Savelbar, for whatever reason, the Bellaire fans.
The Viking fans, actually. Unless some Viking fans stuff.
I just saw the red. They're blue, aren't they?
So it's 2nd and 10 at the 45. 4:05 left here before halftime. Savelbar continues on those long counts. Here comes Bruce as they try to set up the slip screen. It's complete and breaking free across the 45, and Padgett couldn't get him. Maurice Jeffries finally knocks DeJuan Hoover out of bounds, and if Padgett didn't trip him up, it would have been a foot race to the end zone.
Hoover, a 5'8", 170 senior. Bellaire putting some pressure on Savelbar. Good throw, and a missed tackle there by Bellaire. And Hoover scooting to the outside. And his game plan right there is just to see how many people he can outrun. Actually, I thought he went out of bounds a little further upfield.
They mark it at the 33. As Savelbar continues to get different names involved here. Flips it out to this side. Ramos with it.
There's
crosses the 30 to the 28.
Ney and Fisher, good outside pursuit. That's the one thing all season long that TJ Ney has done, is to handle that outside. There he fights off a block, and as you'll see here, he's going to come over that quick and get in on the play with Fisher and Jeffries.
5 on first down, 2nd and 5 from the 28. Bellaire now, more than ever, needs a big defensive stand as we close in on 3 minutes here before halftime. Savelbar is going to run it. Looking for a block, got the first down and more to the 20. You could almost see that develop from our vantage point, John. He did drop back, but you could see the running lane there.
Well, and they didn't have Lighty on the field at that point either. They sent 3 wide to the right, 3 to the left, 1 to the right. Ramos going out, that took a player back. And there's Bellaire, but by that time it's too late.
C29 Antonik with the wrap-up.
Called execution, Ryan. You talk about when so many things have to fall in place for that play to work.
Now Lighty, who's been a non-factor tonight, in motion. Deep give, Ramos breaks free, and he'll get about 3 on his first down carry. As Bellaire having some trouble tackling here.
Again, that's the speed of St. Joe.
You see Nate Davis in on defense will now come out.
There's Ramos. Ney was blocked, still got a hand on him. Mancini ended up making the tackle. This is an overall quick St. Joseph team, obviously, as you can see.
Ticking inside of 2 minutes now, 2nd and 7 at the 17. Savelbar pumps, gets rid of it, and it's incomplete along the near sideline, and he took a hit. As fortunately for him, he got rid of it. TJ Ney was in there. He wanted DeJuan Hoover, who was locked in with Josh Fisher. So here's a 3rd and 7 again coming up.
Fisher with a good defense on this. You'll watch, he's going to force Hoover to either step out of bounds or be frozen. See the fake right there. It's Velbar had trouble throwing over Mancini, but as you see, Hoover had a choice of going nowhere backwards or out of bounds. Good defense by Josh Fisher.
Antonik showing blitz. He's coming. Flushed is Savelbar. Going to try to run for the sticks. Cuts back at the 15 and surges forward to about the 12. So he will be short of the first down. It'll be 4th and about 2. And it's decision time for the Vikings, who still have 2 timeouts left, but now face a 4th and a long 2.
What Savelbar does is he will run in the direction, as he did that time, where there are 3 receivers, and give the Bellaire defense credit. You see Savelbar, you know he's going to run the football. The receivers are in the vicinity. It is so difficult to stay with your men until he passes the line of scrimmage. You'll see Savelbar. Now there's 3 receivers in the end zone, and here's Savelbar running, and right there's the line of scrimmage, and that's when Bellaire is able to come up and close.
Look at Cody Bruce down there in pursuit. Big number 75, and now after the Vikings spend a timeout, their second, 1:23 left. John Magistro and company. So Bellaire gets the ball here in the second half. So imperative here, John, for them to make this stop.
Well, Savelbar,
you want to go in and just down 7.
When you watch Savelbar run on that running play, he is looking for any of the Bellaire defenders just to pull off the receiver slightly. They had 3 of them, as I mentioned, in that end zone. All 3 of them stayed there, and Savelbar, in a chess game on the run, decided, well, he will go for it, and as soon as he hit that line of scrimmage, there was Bellaire.
They had a 4th and short earlier that they converted on a Savelbar sneak. This time they're going to line up for the field goal. So they bring on Anastasi. It'll be marked at the 19, so we'll call it a 29-yard field goal. From the left hash, the lefty into it, but he pushed it.
I believe that's off to the left.
To the left, no good. So Bellaire holds and dodges a bullet there with 1:17 left here before halftime. The Vikings move the football down the field, move it effectively, but come away with 0 points, which is all that matters for Bellaire. Still down 7 here on the Undos scoreboard, and they'll get it off the touchback to the 20-yard line. Let's see how big the Big Reds attack things here. 3 timeouts left. Are they content with taking it into the locker room, down 7, or will they try to hurry things up and try to get a quick strike down the field to set up either a field goal or the game-tying touchdown? Davis, pressure. Brought down and sacked at the 15-yard line. Franklin Frazier, number 32, in off the blitz. So they're going to come after Davis. Clock will wind now at 1:05 and counting.
Inside linebacker Franklin Frazier doubles as a fullback at times, and Davis just could not get away from him.
They'll bring pressure again. Davis to throw it to the outside. It is complete. Maurice Jeffries with it as he corralled that at the 28-yard line. 39 seconds and counting. Bellaire still with timeouts.
Well, they need a first down here before they can, call the timeout. They don't want to give St. Joe the ball.
Davis pressure again, and it's incomplete.
And so it turned out to be a good move because that whittled some more time off the clock now that they have to give it up.
Yep. And as of now, the offense will remain on the field now. Yep, here they come, the punting unit. Keith Seacrest and company back on the field. So 25 seconds left before halftime. And now the punt becomes the important play here.
Well, Bellaire fell behind 14-0, and it looked like St. Joe was just going to be in a track meet all night. Bellaire defense stiffened, and basically a shutout in this corner.
Came after Seacrest, but he got it away. Spirals and bounces at the 43, and is downed by Antonio Dalto at the Vikings 44-yard line with 16 seconds left here before halftime. Villa Angela St. Joseph's up 7 on the Undo scoreboard, and they'll have a couple of cracks at it if they so wish here before the break.
13th appearance for Villa Angela St. Joe, and I believe the school was called St. Joseph until about 1989 or so. They added the Villa Angela to it. They're 13-11 coming into this game in the postseason. One state title, that was in 1989. They beat Fostoria in Division II. Bellaire making its 6th playoff appearance.
Looks like the knee will be in order here.
They are in the concede formation.
There it is. So Zavelbar goes to his knee in the final 10 seconds. We'll run off the clock here at Canton Fawcett Stadium in quarter number 2. So we're at the half. Pretty good first half of football. Cleveland Villa Angela St. Joseph's 14, Bellaire 7 on the Undo scoreboard. We're back with the second half kickoff after this. Welcome back to Canton Fawcett Stadium. Time now to turn our attention back down to the field and listen in to the Bellaire High School Marching Band.
Are you ready? We can't hear you. join with us tonight right from your seat, because we're ready to do it. Do it with the band, the Big Reds Band Dance.
And there you have it, the Bellaire High School Marching Band. Thanks so much, folks, for watching. For everyone here at WTOV9, I'm Ryan Recker saying so long, and we'll see you soon.
Playoff special. One full tray of pizza that's 28 pieces with cheese and pepperoni, only $12. Call now for free delivery.
There's a warm, small-town feel to Shadyside Care Center. Through a supportive staff, a home-like facility, and professionals who enjoy their work, Shadyside Care Center reaching a higher standard in personal care.
Back on a beautiful night for football here, right next to the Pro Football Hall of Fame at Canton Fawcett Stadium, 14-7. Cleveland Villa Angela St. Joe's leading Bellaire at the half on the Undos scoreboard. Getting set for the second half kickoff, Bellaire will receive. Let's take a look at how things unfolded in the first half. St. Joe's opening drive. They go 13 plays, 49 yards, and 6:35, capped off by an Anthony Ramos touchdown. And in the second quarter, Mike Savelbar, 1-yard touchdown run in for the score. That made it 14-0. Bellaire would then respond, 11 plays, 87 yards, 4:10 off the clock. Mike Fisher, 3-yard touchdown run. And just before the half, the Vikings miss a field goal off the left foot of Vicente Anastasi. It was a 29-yarder, pushed it to the left as Bellaire really dodged a bullet there. John Simonson before halftime. Let's take a look at some first half stats from each team.
First down, St. Joseph in with 11, Bellaire in with 6. Rushing, 14 carries for 66 yards for the Big Reds, 19 for 77 for the Vikings. That's about even. Passing, Savelbar, 11 out of 18, 115 yards. Nate Davis, 5 of 9 for 58. The penalties, Bellaire 4 for 30, St. Joseph 1 for 5. But the big story, which has to be addressed, is the time of possession. Bellaire has had it only 8 minutes and 26 seconds. St. Joe almost double that at 15 and 34 seconds. So Bellaire does get the football. And, you know, if you look back at the half, you know, you look at the total offense, 192 yards, rather, for St. Joseph, 124 for Bellaire. And, you know, the one thing is you look back at that first half, I think the defensive backs have played well for Bellaire.
Sure, especially considering that Lighty doesn't have a catch.
And Savelbar has just been amazing, threading that needle.
Yeah, if he's not on the money, how many completions does he have? 11. If he's not on the money, he may only have 5 or 6 on some of those balls. He's not right on the money.
I think on just a couple of those out hitch patterns, or I think on 2 of those, that's the only time those receivers were open to resemble anything.
So here we go, short second half kickoff. Antonio Dalto will watch it sail out of bounds, and that, of course, is a penalty. Not the way the Vikings wanted to start the second half, but Bellaire certainly will take that.
Well, they'll take it to the 35, I'm sure. They could have a choice there. They could make them re-kick 5 yards back. or take it where it went out. So the good field position at the 35, and at some point you think, you know, I think we're going to win this game, and I think right now Bellaire has that mental approach to this.
And of course, coaching staff has been here before, John. Let's not forget that this is a seasoned Bellaire coaching staff. They know what needs to be done here in the second half. And right now, the ball is in their court, so to speak. 1st and 10 at their own 35 to start half number 2 here at Fawcett Stadium. Davis tipped as he threw it.
And of course, that was tipped by Stazar. You know, again, 3 wide receivers for Bellaire, and the cushion is about 9-10 yards defensively, and it's so tantalizing to take advantage of that.
And Davis on another short drop, and you know, right away you want to blame the quarterback on a tip pass, but whoever's blocking the lineman, if you allow him to get his body up and get his hands up, certainly the blame may lie with the blocker. Here's Davis, loses it as it popped out. Now he picks it back up off the turf and tries to get rid of it, and it's going to be rolled incomplete, as Davis did one heck of a job to not lose yardage on that play. Ball popped loose, picked it up off the turf, had about 4 or 5 men in his face, and he just threw it away. No flag. Let's check the Doane Ford Lincoln Mercury instant replay.
Well, actually, it was raked out of there by McMichael, and watch Davis. As Davis goes back, his arm is hit. The contact is made. Who's to say that that ball wouldn't have been down the middle of the field somewhere?
And
I thought that was a great call.
Yeah, boos coming from the Villa Angela St. Joe's side. 3rd and 10 out of the shotgun. Blitz is picked up. Davis unleashes too high though for Maurice Jeffries across midfield, and it's 3 and out for Bellaire. An inauspicious start here.
15 seconds was the time of possession of that drive. Still 11:45 to go here in the 3rd quarter, but they spread the field. They found a couple of things. Davis did have some time, and time enough for the receivers to run even a deeper pattern than they did on some occasions in the first half.
So here's Seacrest now. He's done a nice job tonight. Not necessarily high punts, not necessarily deep, but good placement. He's got some good rolls. This one, end over end high. At the 30, fielded, and at the 33, knockdown is Kostranchik by number 59, Bobby Halicki. Let's take a timeout. 14-7. St. Joe's leading Bellaire on the Undo scoreboard. More 3rd quarter action after this.
Law offices provide trial and litigation services in all Ohio courts. Adoption, bankruptcy, criminal defense, personal injury, real estate, wills, and more. Call 676-2743. Riga's Restaurant, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 40 years in downtown Bellaire. Thanks for allowing us to serve you.
First and 10 at their own 33-yard line. The Vikings will go to the ground, and it's Ramos. He opened the first half with a nice kickoff return and opens the second half on offense, crossing the 40 to about the 42-yard line.
Good cutback by Ramos. He got it inside of Babka. You can see the handoff, and Ramos going outside. Then he'll cut right back inside and picked up nice yardage, actually 8 yards. Bellaire defensively, again, good secondary coverage. That's the Fishers, Josh and Mike, along with Ryan Kaiser and Maurice Jeffries.
Anastasi was in motion. They fake it, and now a give. And this will be a rare carry for Franklin Frazier, who tried to dance his way to the first down sticks, and let's see if he has it. He had a defensive sack.
Well, we mentioned
Ryan
Kaiser's name. There he comes in. It's enough for the first down, but he disrupted the play. And we're also seeing Ryan Padgett in the secondary as well. You talk about the time that Davis has had to throw. You know, that says a lot for Adam Shallcross, Brice Dunlap, Wayne Krall, Dirk Soland, and Adam Lucci.
So Velbar hasn't thrown it yet here in the second half. They're showing blitz. Now they back off. Incomplete bouncing ball, and there's that coverage again, John. Bellaire has had excellent coverage from their corners tonight. That is Josh Fisher closing in on Eddie Subel. The pass was low nonetheless.
They have him fronted, and they've got him covered from behind. And again, Savelbar trying to just rough it in there and did not.
Those are the catches that his receivers made in the first half. Tough catches and tough to execute those plays, but they did it in the first half, and see if they can continue to do it here tonight. 2nd and 10 on their own 45.
Jeffries backing off of Lighty on the far side.
Time again for Savelbar. Is going to go deep, breaking free, not fast enough to catch up to it. Down there is number 27, Robert Tillery, who had a step down there around the 20-yard line, but just couldn't catch up to it. Ball too far in front of him.
Savelbar being chased out, didn't find anybody there. He took a couple steps to his right, I should say, and got his receiver behind the secondary, but just simply overthrew it.
Tillery had a step on Padgett.
I think sometimes Savelbar at 5'10" has difficulty throwing over the line. He doesn't have a great line of vision.
And out of the gates here in the second half, he's 0 for 2. Passing situation here on 3rd and 10. See what Bellaire comes with.
Lighty goes in motion, and Jeffries follows it.
Savelbar looks like he wants to set up the screen. He's got Ramos and a couple blockers out there. Disrupted for a moment, but here goes Ramos breaking into the secondary inside the 20 and finally dragged down at about the 10-yard line. You could see that thing developing from the get-go.
A little bit of hesitation by Ramos to see what the defender would do, and then off to the races he was. And Maurice Jeffries really on the fly, saving that touchdown.
There was a shot here from a Bellaire player. Let's try to pick up his number on the Doan Ford Lincoln Mercury instant replay, who broke through 2 defenders and had a chance here.
And that was a good little bit of a hesitation by Ramos. And Jeffries, as fast as Ramos is, here's Jeffries chasing him down.
They'll mark it officially at the 15-yard line is where they'll mark him out of bounds. 1st and 10, good look at Ramos as he remains on the field. Look at this formation. If we can pick it up here at the bottom of your screen, stacked trips. And here's Savelbar with time. We'll just throw it away.
Now, where was he throwing that? If they want
throwing it to I-77, it looked like.
Now, if there's an intentional grounding, that would have been it. There wasn't a receiver within 15 yards. Now, the arm wasn't hit, as in Davis's case. He just simply turned and threw it right on the P on Pro Football Hall of Fame. I think what they did is they renamed the field. It used to be Fawcett Stadium. It still is Fawcett Stadium, but it's now Pro Football Hall of Fame field because of the huge donation that the NFL made.
A couple $100,000 to put the lights in here. John Magistro, you saw the shrug of his shoulders. What the heck was that, he was asking.
He wanted to know who was the intended receiver.
2nd and 10. That's Lighty again in motion. Savelbar will roll with time. Completes. And Mike Fisher will put a hit on number 83, Subel, who has been the leading receiver tonight for the Vikings. Inside the 10-yard line to the 8, where it'll be 3rd and 3.
Kostranchik actually broke free going across the middle here, but Savelbar did not see him. And Savelbar just throwing that tight spiral on the run, and there's Subel trying to get as much as he can. But all of a sudden, it's 3rd down and 3.
And it was 3rd and 10 before that long play to Ramos.
Looks like they want to go left here.
They got 3 in the backfield. They'll fake it. Savelbar is going to try to turn the corner.
What a hit.
Ended. And he'll be shy of the 1st down. TJ Ney was in there disrupting things, and Savelbar went airborne, tried to close into the 1st down marker. Couldn't do it, and it's 4th and about 1.
Give Bellaire's defense credit because they were lining up and they were giving hints that they were going to go to the left. Well, some of the flow did go left, but Savelbar just simply ran to the right side. And look at TJ Ney on the ground making that tackle.
And had to fight off a block to do it.
They're going to go for it.
Biggest play of the game so far. 4th and 1 from the 6. Let's see if they try to draw him off.
Savelbar may just keep it right here, as he did last time on 4th and inches.
Puts Ramos in motion, does keep it, and he's up the middle for the 1st down to the 3-yard line.
good surge by their offensive line. Give them credit for that. And Savelbar, not panicking, took his time and gets the first down.
Another look on the Doan Ford Lincoln Mercury instant replay.
Just a little bit of a seam there for Savelbar. He went inside of Joey Mastroberti, a sophomore. That's how you block down. So now at the 4-yard line. And again, it's one of these agonizing 4-minute drives plus so far.
7:50 and counting on that third quarter clock. On the ground, that is Anastasi. Minimal yardage for him.
Well, we wanted 3 things. We wanted Bellaire with a good possession, stop them, and win the time of possession. So far, it's 0-3.
0 for 3 so far, yep, here in the second half. And they had them 3rd and 10, and you know, I think they're going to go back and look at that and scratch their heads. And they had this team 3rd and 10 and gave up the big one to Ramos. But
if Savelbar keeps it here again. Nope.
Go back to Ramos. He'll surge ahead, but Bellaire will be there for him.
There's Mancini and Ney. Ben Smith.
So they're not going to allow the Vikings to score so quickly. As we take a look on the Doan Ford Lincoln Mercury instant replay.
There's Ney fighting off 2 blockers. Mancini, and they stood him up.
They got it to the 1. Another challenge for this Bellaire defensive unit.
Well, if they're going to score here, Bellaire wants to force them somewhere other than straight ahead. Savelbar crouching low.
And he'll go to his left, he'll battle, and he'll get in for the touchdown.
Good spin move. He twisted around and got the touchdown. Initially, it looked like Bellaire had him stopped, but he did a nice little spin move and gets the score.
Another look.
Savelbar runs right in to Mancini, and as you can see, he just kind of twisted around a little bit.
Dirk Soland down there, 66. And you're right, though. He, to his credit, a good individual effort as Anastasi's extra point is true. So 6:15 left in the third. A lot of time left in this game. But the Vikings back up by 2 scores, 21-7 on the Undo scoreboard. Back with more from Canton after this. So another challenge for John Magistro and his Bellaire Big Reds. Down 14 once again, as they were earlier, 14-0 on the Undo scoreboard. 6:15 left here in the third. And John, we hate to keep harping on it, but time of possession certainly the big factor here tonight.
Well, it was almost 2-1 in the first half. And in this half, Bellaire had it, worked it over only 15 seconds. And then there's still 6:15 remaining in this third quarter. So already the time of possession in this quarter is 5.5 minutes for St. Joseph and 15 seconds for Bellaire.
And Bellaire had the good field position there after Anastasi kicked it out of bounds on the opening kickoff here in the second half. Bellaire 1st and 10 at the 35. Couldn't move it forward at all. And now they'll have another crack at it as it starts to become crunch time. I know we mentioned a lot of time left, but now every possession so very crucial for Bellaire.
One thing that impresses me also about Savelbar, the quarterback of Cleveland St. Joseph, is his poise, his leadership. He's confident in everything he does.
Another short kick. It'll bounce. Mike Fisher will grab it at the 16. Breaks free through one set of tacklers. Fisher finally dragged down and out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Nice return, and we talked about it. Doesn't need a lot of room as he can scoot through the smallest of holes and make daylight for himself as he did there on that kickoff return. So here come the Big Reds one more time.
Down 21-7 halfway through this third quarter. Championship game, 3:30 next Saturday at Massillon.
Could it be Bellaire and Versailles on that same field as we saw in the mid-90s? Big Reds on first down. It's Fisher driving forward to about the 38-yard line.
On the stop.
And one thing that Bellaire has to its advantage if they want to come back into this game, they know how to run the no-huddle, hurry-up offense.
Mike Fisher on that running play has that unique running style where he's more bent over than he is running straight up, and he's like a mouse in a maze at times. He just finds just a little seam. Right there's a perfect example.
There he is again across the 45 to the 47.
All he needs to see is anything that isn't blue on the other side, just a little seam, and he slithers through there. Cuts back neat on his play.
Another look on the Doane Ford Lincoln Mercury instant replay. Make yourself skinny, that's what they tell you.
He sure did there. A little tighter coverage on the receivers.
Redman falling forward for a yard.
Redman running a little bit of misdirection. St. Joe, that's the thing about quickness. I mean, even if you foul out, I mean, you're quick enough to overcome anything like that.
Gain of 2, 49, second and 8.
Tell you one thing, St. Joseph's defense, those DBs don't want to get beat deep.
Here's Fisher. Bursting through across the 40. Mike Fisher, a huge gain down to the 31-yard line, as it's going to be another Bellaire first down and another big gainer for Fisher. Mark off 20 yards for him there. Good sell by Davis as well.
Great sell by Davis. And look, for sure he was going to throw, and they didn't even see him hand off until about now. And Subel comes up. He's a defensive halfback, and he was in no position to challenge Fisher. He just had to hold his ground and wait for Fisher to make a move.
So here are the Big Reds in business again. Fisher one more time, turns the corner. Fisher breaking free, and he's out of bounds at the 14-yard line. Another first down. Bellaire making no secret who they want their horse to be here in crunch time.
14-yard line,
Fisher
17-yard
at the outside so quickly, the speediest of Bellaire's backs. He just simply outran, got to the corner, and it was a foot race. High arm tackle by DeJuan Hoover.
Another 15 yards for Fisher, whose all-purpose yards continue to pile up tonight.
Fisher 33 yards in the first half.
Keep it on the ground. Mancini, the big guy, pushes ahead for a few.
36, Brian Mancini.
So no throws for Bellaire here on this series.
Following the blocking of the center, Wayne Crawl, a 5'10", 250-pound senior. You know, you go from one extreme, Michael Fisher, who is 6'2", 160, and then you go to the big guy in Mancini, who racks up about 235 pounds.
From the 12, Fisher, stiff arm once, and he'll struggle just to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Under 4 minutes left in the third.
Now you would think, John, not only is this a passing situation on 3rd and 8, but 4-down territory certainly as well.
Not as much ground for St. Joe to defend. Fisher was fortunate to get away from Stazar. Got a block there from Mancini, but St. Joe's speed able to come over there.
Jeffries, Josh Fisher to the bottom, Padgett to the top. Davis, short drop, and it's in and out of the hands of Josh Fisher at about the 6-yard line. Would not have been enough for the first down anyway. So here it is, 4th and 8. Bellaire will go.
Fisher had a cushion, and the ball just simply thrown short and low. If Fisher catches that, I think he's going to pick up the first down, because still the defender was about 4 yards away. He might come back with this. If not, how about crossing him and using the old pick play? Nope, Jeffries. Nope, they're going to
dump it to Mike Fisher inside the 10, and he's brought down by his shirt tail at the 6-yard line. What a tackle by Anthony Ramos, because it looked like Fisher was going to have the corner, and with his speed would undoubtedly have the first down, and in all likelihood a touchdown.
Mike Fisher, with a good decision, quickly decided that his best option was to run to that left corner. Good look off by Nate Davis. Fisher decides he makes the quick decision. He thinks he can outrun, and we did too. And look at that.
That close.
Good tackle by Ramos.
About a yard short of a first down. Time now. 3 minutes left on the clock here as St. Joe's will take over at their own 6-yard line. Savelbar. Now the task is to stop this offense and keep them from not only chewing up yardage but time off the clock. They don't do it there as he crosses the 15 to the 17 and a first down carry.
That's the thing about Savelbar. When you're down 21-7, you want to try to put some pressure on them. And it's just so tempting. Just as you go in there, Savelbar is just making the excellent read and getting enough yard. He's not trying to go the distance, but got him out of a hole, got a first down. Makes great decisions. Gotta watch Lighty here.
Quiet tonight. And now a timeout.
Yeah.
Savelbar with the play clock winding down takes timeout. 2:25 left here in the third. 21-7 Vikings on top on the Undo scoreboard. Back with more from Canton after this. John Magistro and company trying to rally here. Had their chances tonight. Just have not been able to capitalize and cash in on the opportunities they've had. Down 14 here on the Undo scoreboard. Late stages here of quarter number 3, and we hate to sound repetitive, but you got to stop this offense. You can't allow them to keep getting first downs, the Vikings offense that is, and move the clock down as they have tonight. Some huge drives tonight that they've not only capitalized and turned into touchdowns, but run some precious time off the clock.
Well, what's important here too is the field position. You want to, at least when you didn't make it on fourth down, you want to win the battle of field position here. And Bellaire had him back at the 6.
So Savelbar 1st and 10 following the timeout from his own 18. And there's Lighty for the first time tonight. Locked in with Maurice Jeffries. Has the catch at the 25.
That's his first catch. And at some point, Jeffries, let's take a look at the coverage. He's been playing him tight. As you can see right there, Jeffries is all over him. And Savelbar is so accurate, you would think just through the law of averages, he would make a mistake.
Right. That's the truth.
I bet he's one of those kids that won that contest at the county fair or the carnival where you throw the football through the tire.
He certainly sure could have, because he's been right on the money tonight. They'll go back to the ground, and Ramos trying to showcase his speed, bounces it, and he'll have the first down across the 30-yard line.
Ryan Padgett saving that from more damage by Ramos. Bellaire changing a couple of things defensively, just simply to get some more speed out there, if nothing else. There's Ramos. He's not even looking upfield. He's just trying to run as fast as he can and then cut it up. He wasn't looking to cut back or run straight ahead.
Minute 20 and counting.
Got 3 wide at the top. And Bellaire right now only 2 defenders on that stacked eye. It's 3 on 2.
Savelbar though.
It's window dressing.
Yep, because he goes to Ramos, who has it out to the 35-yard line.
Under a minute remaining in the third quarter.
And with Bellaire, the way they can move the football, John, all they need is 2 stops on defense with the way they've been able to move the football, because they have shown tonight that with that no-huddle offense that they can get it down the field and put themselves in position to score, but they need their defense to get them the football back. Easier said than done with a guy like Savelbar at the controls. 2nd and 7 at the 35. Savelbar looking for some running room. Antonik will try to chase him down, and will. And Maurice Jeffries will meet him at the 39-yard line. So they converge on him. And the final seconds will tick away here in the third quarter.
Solid tackle by Jeffries. Svelbar can take a hit. You can see here, Svelbar trying to sell the pass. Cody Bruce disrupted things for a moment and forced him back a little bit backwards that he did not want to go. And there you can see the sure stick by Jeffries.
Well, 12 minutes separate one of these two teams from Massillon in the Division IV state finals. Will it be Cleveland, Villa Angela, St. Joseph's, or Bellaire? Right now, the Vikings up 14, end of 3 on the Undo scoreboard. Fourth quarter after this. John Magistro flashing a smile as tries to remain loose here to start the fourth quarter down by 14. Rarity to see a guy like that, the head coach for that matter, flash a smile down 14, but that guy's been in this position before. Cool and calm is Coach Magistro as his team, his defense now, a big challenge, 3rd and 4 here to start the fourth quarter, trying to get their offense back to get back into this game. So Valbar with Lighty in motion.
He's a little deeper out of the shotgun by about 2 yards this time.
Fakes it, throws, and has the hookup. Complete, crossing the 45 and out near the 49-yard line. They convert again. It's DeJuan Hoover this time.
You know, we were watching in warm-ups as we see the replay. In warm-ups, the receivers of St. Joe had trouble hanging on to the ball. That's not been the case here in this game. And you just wonder if this team ever makes a mistake. And Bellaire right now, if they can't stop them defensively, is going to have to create some opportunities because St. Joe right now, their pattern has been to chew off about 5 or 6 minutes of the clock.
Sure. Not necessarily yardage. And Savelbar, of course, will take his time, feels pressure, throws, and completes again. And there's another name that'll get his name on the stat sheet, Sean Evers, a 6-foot senior with the grab. Another look on the Doan Ford Lincoln Mercury instant replay.
Safe throw, low throw, man is open, another 4 yards.
And now an official's timeout. Looks like Josh Fisher may have an injury problem or an equipment problem.
A problem with his socks.
He decides to pull them down.
Yep.
So we'll get back to action here. Time ticking, 10:55 and counting.
3 wide to the right. Again, Bellaire this time giving them a little bit more cushion.
Time again for Savelbar. Flag on the play. This will be a hold. This will come back as he dives forward for the first down. But they'll mark off 10 from the spot of that one. And Bellaire will catch a break here.
Finally, on a second down and 6 play. It is holding on the offense, as you say.
And Joe, we spent all week in pregame talking about, as we take a look at the replay on the Doan Ford Lincoln Mercury instant replay of, what the keys are. And this guy can be a factor. Speed can be a factor. High school football, I think it comes down to who makes the least amount of mistakes.
Trying to see where the hold was on that. It was on. They're going to call that on skirting. You're 6'3", 310. You don't really need to hold anybody.
But that's a sizable mark-off because it's all the way back to the St. Joe's 37-yard line, so 2nd and 22.
Either Soland or Bruce was held on that play. You mentioned John Magistro. What a great guy, always at ease, but you mentioned that smile. I tell you, he's one of the most intense coaches also that you'll ever be around.
Time again. Complete on a crossing pattern. Room to run, crossing the 45. Knocked out of bounds at the 42. With that pickup is Joe Vaccaro. So just when you think that Bellaire has them pinned back, they sneak someone else into this offense. Vaccaro getting involved once again.
I believe he used the umpire as a screen. Well, no, we didn't see the whole thing there. But what he did was he just clipped right behind the umpire, used that as a screen, and got himself free. Smart move. Looked like he picked up more yardage than that, but we'll take it 3rd and 1.
from the 42.
Only one wideout this time, and a flag.
This will be movement on the Vikings, as Savelbar wanted to keep it again.
I think this again.
No, you're right, John. Yep. My apologies. It's going to be an encroachment foul. All right, time for a break. We'll be back with more action at Canton Fawcett Stadium after this. Back to action. 1st and 10 following the penalty at the Bellaire 37-yard line. Savelbar all day to throw. Steps up and he'll gain a couple to the 35 where he was tripped up.
I think Ben Smith actually got a claw on him and made him stumble.
Let's take another look, John. Determine exactly what happened on the Doan Ford Lincoln Mercury instant replay.
High snap that Savelbar has to bring down. So Smith got a hand on him just enough, just got him by the shoe. But this is what St. Joe wants, new sets of downs. Bellaire needs that football. They're crowd 9 in the box defensively.
Bring a man in motion to the bottom. Another long count for Savelbar. Looks like he wanted to set up the screen to the left. Now goes to the right. TJ Ney, Adam Shallcross, and others are there to disrupt it. Fumble on the play. Does Bellaire have it?
They're going to say he was down.
Oh, they're going to say he was down. John Magistro in the sideline, up in arms. Tough to tell from our vantage point. But what a play that would have been. What a huge turnaround for the Big Reds. As it'll be Vikings football. John Magistro again looking for an explanation.
Stazar, the defensive end, came over, made a good block, but TJ Ney then followed that up. I don't know if we have a good camera angle of that or not.
Nope, it's 3rd and 13 from the 40. Time continuing to tick away. 8:30 and counting.
We're going to rule that play that he was down and the ground forced the fumble. 6-man front Bellaire.
Savelbar pressured. Brought down, and now that's a fumble.
That is a fumble.
Ball loose. Who will have it? Adam Shallcross down there to try to pounce on it. And they're going to try to untangle it. Bellaire has it at the 47-yard line of St. Joe's. So they don't give him the last one. Some poetic justice here, maybe, Mr. Simonson.
That was better yet. Picked up an extra 15 yards on that. Savelbar, they just pinned their ears back and came after. As mentioned, they had a 6-man front. And there is Luke Sulak. Got him by the tail.
And Ben Smith in there as well, but how about Shallcross? Going after it, diving for it, and, in the midst of some blue jerseys, picks it free.
Shallcross just cleaned house when he went in there after that football.
And now Bellaire, a huge pick-me-up, 1st and 10 at the 47. They need a score here. This is one's floated.
Contact.
And there was contact. Jeffries down on the turf. Looked like Lighty had a chance to go out and pick it, but it was out of bounds, fortunately.
2nd and 10.
Second down coming up, 8:02 left.
The Vikings, 47.
You don't get many breaks in games like these, John. And we talked about mistakes. That was the first big mistake made tonight by Villa Angela St. Joseph's, and now Bellaire has to capitalize and cash in here.
10-yard cushion by the defense.
Fisher picks up a nice block, crosses the 40, looking for another one on the cutback. Fisher spinning down inside the 30-yard line as you want to look at number 51 for Bellaire, Wayne Krall, who sealed things off for Fisher and let him get free into the secondary.
Talk about selling the draw play. Nate Davis just earned a bonus on this one. Delayed handoff. You watch David Lighty here with a Olay type tackle.
We're back to live action. It's Smith on 1st down. And again, John, one advantage for Bellaire is that they're in this no huddle all game long. So they're used to it, and it's second nature to them. They're not out of their element when they have to hurry up.
Padgett and Jeffries at the bottom of the screen. Didn't even move to go back to whatever semblance of a huddle would be. Again, man-to-man coverage, it looks like, with a lot of cushion.
Fisher again, leaping to about the 28.
Well, that time, St. Joseph wasn't buying. Franklin Frazier. We talk about the size of St. Joe. They only have one player that's really what you would call big at 6'3", 10 skirting, but the rest of them are all between 185 and 220.
Very
in that
athletic.
range.
Yep, very athletic bunch. 3rd and 9 from the 29. Blitz off the corner. Davis unleashes it. Lighty is down there, and he has the interception. Davis threw it into a crowd, and now he fumbles it. And let's see if he got it back or if Bellaire has it. Bellaire has it. So how about this? Lighty fumbles at the 20-yard line. Bellaire recovers it, and that'll be a first down on another change of possession. So Bellaire lucks out again as St. Joe's makes their second big mistake of the night.
Blind side, they come after Davis. Off of 1 foot, throws it, and Lighty grabs it, stumbles, and let's see what happens here. And that was Padgett just pried it out of there, and Lighty somehow lost it. Was not aggressive enough underneath there.
Was that Padgett that got it?
I think that was Padgett again coming in there and grabbing that football.
Time for a break. Boy, things getting interesting here. John Magistro wanting to talk to his team. They'll have a first down from the Viking 20. 6:31 left here at Canton Fawcett. Hang on to your hats, folks. This one's not done yet. Well, John Magistro and company, they're going to fight to the very end. You know, I'm not so sure we call that a break, John. That's a hustle play by Ryan Padgett coming back and talk about playing to the whistle. Padgett came back and forced the fumble, and Bellaire has it back. Now a first down and 10 at the 20 following what was a turnover and an interception to Lighty.
You know, it's interesting. The football ends up right where Bellaire needed initially for the first down.
Right.
There's been what, 3 turnovers in I think what, 3 plays?
Yeah. And nearly a fourth, could have been a fourth on the fumble before that. The injured player, there was an injured player down. It's Eddie Subel, who's been so valuable on offense tonight for the Vikings. He will head to the locker room, but our attention on the field now. 6:31 left. First down, it's Fisher trying to sneak through, and he'll go ahead to the 16-yard line.
Soland and Lucci providing a little bit of running room there for Fisher. Down to 6:19 to go here in the game. There you can see just a little bit of a seam there for Fisher.
That's all he needs.
Yep. Seven-yard cushion by the defenders.
Mancini pushing to about the 12.
Well, now it is the envious 3rd down and 3, and you know this is a play. You know, coaches, do you run? Do you throw?
There's another look at the Doan Ford Lincoln Mercury instant replay.
Mancini getting a block there from Brice Dunlap.
Third and 2.
No one's covering Jeffries. Now they just do get Ramos over there.
But they'll keep it on the ground. Fisher up the middle. Fisher inside the 5 and spins to the 3 where it'll be first and goal for the Big Reds.
Quick developing play. Fisher with just enough time. You know, the line held just enough to give Fisher that thin hole that he found. You think there's no way he can get through there, but the offensive line of Bellaire giving Fisher enough room.
Same formation. Redman at fullback. They give it to him, and he will push to the goal line. No indication yet. And it looks like he's going to be just shy of the touchdown. No, they give it to him. Now he's in. Touchdown. It took them forever to signal touchdown, but Brock Redman has it, and Bellaire has closed the gap to 8 points, 21-13, with the extra point coming to Keith Seacrest. No official wanted to make that call, John.
Well, they had to unpile, and You can see there's Redman, problem with a handoff, and Redman looks like he's clearly over at this point, and the clock was running the whole time.
So now Seacrest off the hold from Padgett. The extra point is through. 4:58 left. The Bellaire Big Reds, you give them a chance, they're going to hang around. Down 7 on the Undo scoreboard. An exciting finish, I'm sure, on tap, and we'll have it for you after this break. All right, strategy time now for Bellaire as they're down 7. They'll kick it off to the Vikings. 4:58 left in this game. John Simonson, the options now for Bellaire. You can certainly, of course, try the onside kick, but if you don't recover, then you're giving the Vikings half of a football field. You can kick it deep and put the onus on your defense and your 3 timeouts that you have remaining.
Well, if you thought you could give them a longer field to travel, you would try that, especially now the chess match between the coaches, because how much more is Savelbar likely to keep the football, or how much more of the running game as opposed to the passing game? Now, Savelbar could cross them up and come out throwing. It's always dangerous, but right now I think you've got to start taking chances. I don't think they're going to onside kick this, but you know, this is not the time for a long time consuming drive.
Certainly not.
Although St. Joe's not so sure what they're going to do here. They're not very deep.
Seacrest on the run-up, will kick it deep. And it'll bounce and be picked up by Kostranchik at the 10, across the 20, and Ben Smith there to meet him, still on his feet as he crosses the 25 to the 26-yard line. 4:53 on the clock, and we'll keep an eye on that big electronic monster to the left of us here, which is Bellaire's biggest enemy right now. 3
timeouts left for Bellaire. Part 1 has worked. The kick was back and far enough. They covered the return. Now it is 74 yards away, but St. Joe would love to break one for a touchdown, but right now they want to work the clock more than anything. So it's going to be interesting to see what course of action Savelbar takes here.
They'll be out of the shotgun on 1st and 10. He is going to throw it to the outside and has it to Leidy, who breaks free. Leidy tripped up by Scott Antonik. Otherwise, he had nothing but turf and a touchdown ahead of him.
Well, that's what the fear was. You have to take some chances. And they say, boy, we'd love to have him stand in the pocket and throw. Savelbar throws it to Leidy.
There Jeffries, that big frame and the balance. Out to the 48. Clock ticking. 4:30 and counting.
Well, at least they got the first down without torturing them for 2 and wasting more time. Been running 3 wide much of the night.
Savelbar now will keep it. Flag on the play as he meets Mancini at midfield and finally wrestled down in Bellaire territory at the 49. Interesting to see what this flag is all about.
Well, one thing it does is stop the clock. And at some point here with 4:13 to go, it's about a series too early to use the timeouts, and it is a hold against St. Joe.
Another look on the Doane Ford Lincoln Mercury instant replay.
So if we can pick up the hold. And yeah, right there, Stazar with a tackle, actually. I saw another flag fly, but actually the official tried to put it in his pocket and fell out. Tom Schoen, head coach of the Vikings.
Back at the 39-yard line.
So the ball pushed back to the Viking 39.
All right, it's on St. Joseph in play, so it will not stop the clock.
But it will be 1st and 19.
They just now started the clock.
4:10 and counting.
They signaled about 8 seconds ago to start it, but they did not. It's almost like they're frozen in that formation.
Savelbar pressure from Ney is flushed, gets rid of it, completes it out across the 45 to about the original line of scrimmage and just across there as he got it to DeJuan Hoover. Another look on it on the Doan Ford Lincoln Mercury instant replay, 3:35 in ticking.
Ney after Savelbar, he almost ran out of running room. Still, though, the receiver made a nice move of running with the flow and made it a little bit easier for Savelbar to complete that.
So it's a 2nd and 9. Bellaire's going to have to start thinking timeout here.
Or think turnover.
Savelbar wanted to run it. Dirk Soland disrupted it, and there were others in there to wrap him up. Brian Mancini in there as well, and now Bellaire will spend its first timeout with 3:01 left here. Let's take a look at the replay.
Bring the house, and Bellaire with it. And multitude of big Reds in on that. Savelbar, didn't matter which way he ran, left, right, or straight down. They had him covered.
Well, we're getting set for the game's biggest play and the biggest play of the year for Bellaire. 3rd and 12 coming up. 21-14 Vikings with the lead, late stages of the 4th. Back at a rowdy Canton Fawcett Stadium. 21-14, Cleveland Villa Angela St. Joe's leading Bellaire. 3:01 left in this one. 3rd and 12 coming up. And now the Bellaire defense. They've bent and broken at times tonight, but now more than ever, they need a stop. Savelbar with 4 wideouts and a setback.
They're going to try to set that screen.
They want the screen, and they got it to Lighty, looking for a block. He'll have the first down and more as he crosses the 40 to the Bellaire 35-yard line. Drew it up perfectly.
Well, they contained Lighty for better than 3.5 quarters. His first 2 catches were huge, and this one a monster. Savelbar with a look off. Now he looks like he was going to set the screen up, and actually it was just a delay by Lighty as a blocker out in front of him. Lighty, good decision there for the first down. Savelbar on the night, 20 out of 30, 250 yards.
Uncanny tonight. 2:30, and now inside of 2:30 on the winding clock. Savelbar, pressure, will go up top to Lighty, couldn't reel it in, flag on the play though. They're going to get Jeffries for interference.
I'll give Savelbar, I'll give the St. Joseph staff credit for not playing not to win. I mean, they've remained aggressive. You know, Bellaire
I'm surprised they have, really, with as effective as they've been able to run the ball.
The winner of this, the play Versailles in the state championship game, 3:30 next Saturday. We'll see how much of the clothing that Jeffries got on this. Again, pressure. Good block by Stazar.
May have been before.
It had to be before that. He must have grabbed his shirt or something, but we didn't see it there. 2 flags on that play, so it's a 15-yard penalty. They move the sticks again, 2:20 to go, and Bellaire down to 2 timeouts. Nate Davis tonight, 6 of 16 for 58.
And Lighty, with an equipment problem, is off the field right now.
They sent him about 60 yards down the other way.
It's like a contact lens problem. Now under center is Savelbar. Gives it to Ramos, looking for the corner, and Bellaire gets him out of bounds, which is fortunate for the Big Reds because that's a timeout as he's out at the 14. Gain of 6 on first down.
Great first step by Ramos. Here it is. Look at that acceleration. He is not even going to look to cut it back. He's just want to sprint, try to turn that corner. Bellaire with good defensive pursuit. Michael Fisher tonight, 118 yards rushing.
Sensational game. John Magistro now The hope for a stop or a turnover. At the 13, it's 2nd and 3 with 2:15 left. Savelbar with the keeper. Flag in the play as he dances in for a touchdown, but I think we're going to have a hold that'll bring this one back.
Might have been on the center, Rossman. We'll see what the call is.
And it will come back, so Bellaire can breathe another breath.
Savelbar with a beautiful spin move. And they're very low. And now he just made that move. And I think that's who they did nab was the center. You know, he kind of reminds me a little bit of that Andy Keating of was it Valley View a few years ago. Savelbar. He's just
this is a kid that he can definitely play some small college football somewhere at the quarterback position.
Doesn't throw the deep ball extremely well, but throws the mid-range football extremely well. The short game is, like we said earlier, could throw it through one of those holes in a tire.
2nd and 12. Looks like he wants to put it up here. Soland and others with pressure. Flushed, and Soland has him all the way back at the 37-yard line. Bellaire will spend another timeout as the clock will officially stop with 1:58 left. And it'll be 3rd. And we're looking at about, well, 26 or so for the first down.
Savelbar with a play fake. Couldn't find anybody open. Again, the DBs of Bellaire doing a nice job. There's Michael Fisher along with Ney and Soland. Great move. And that puts the football back at the 36, Ryan. They have to get inside the 10 for a first down, but 1:58 to go in the game.
And this team has been so successful on 3rd downs tonight, John. And they have come up with the play that they've needed when Bellaire has put the pressure on them and forced them back, and they've had their backs up against the wall in 3rd and long situations. They've come away with the picture-perfect play, which we, of course, saw moments ago on that 3rd and 12 when they hooked up with Lighty across the middle.
Well, they hooked up twice on the previous scoring drive on 3rd down and converted a 4th down in the process. And they may, if they don't lose much yardage here, may be in 4-down territory.
And you would think here,
because they don't want to risk a mistake in the kicking game.
But you would think draw play here if you're thinking Vikings. You would think keep it on the ground, force Bellaire to take that final timeout, and then try to pin them deep with a punt.
Well, Bellaire will use their final timeout here unless they go out of bounds. But, you know, the one thing with Savelbar's running ability, I don't think we would see any type of, I'll be surprised if we see a draw play unless it's with Savelbar himself.
Nope, here he is. He's going to fake it with time, flag on the play. One hops it.
Oh, this was
and
thrown.
Now 1:53 left, and this is going to be interesting.
Thrown by the side judge.
To see what the flag is.
That's defensive holding, which I think it might be.
Yep.
That's a killer. They're talking to St. Joe, and they're the ones that's applauding this. Boy, it'd be 4th down with 2 minutes to go, or it's going to be, see what this penalty is, perhaps a first down.
They're sorting this one out, certainly.
They're going to
Let's make sure they get it right, because this is as crucial of a call as you will see. Legal substitution, it looked like.
That late in the...
They have 12 men in the huddle.
Well, that's illegal participation. If he was in the play, that won't be a first down.
No.
It'll be 3rd and 1. Only one official caught that. That would be a 15-yard penalty on 3rd and 16.
Oh, it's 3rd and 26.
Or I'm sorry, you're right.
So you're right.
It was an illegal substitution, but why the flag was thrown after the play was practically over. All right, so it's 3rd down. I was looking at the beginning of the first down marker. They have to get inside the 10. All right, so all that did was pick
that
up.
Was a 5-yarder. 3rd and 20 now from the 30.
We had fears of defensive holding there.
1:53 left. Savelbar will give it to Ramos, and he's stopped immediately. Behind the line of scrimmage, Bellaire will take its final timeout. Dirk Soland, 66 there. 1:47 left.
Soland was in there and almost missed the running back. Soland gets in there and actually got him from behind because he had already angled in on Savelbar and fortunately kept his eye on where the football was and made that tackle.
So now with it 4th and 23 from the 33, here are your options. You either go for it, you either kick a 50-yard field goal, or which would, in all intents and purposes, end this football game, or you try to pin Bellaire deep and force them to go the length of this football field
with no
timeouts.
Well, and we'll see what they do. You would think that the punt is not an option here, any kind of kick, because of the risk of a block, and then it's a numbers game going the other way. The decision then would be, would you try to run it? Maybe Savelbar trying to pick up 10 yards.
Nope, they're going to punt it. Savelbar's off the field.
All right. Because with Bellaire's offense, what's the difference if they get it at the 20 or the 32?
Right.
It's if they indeed kick this.
Stazar is at the Bellaire 46. Bellaire is in what we would call it a prevent defense, and Stazar is going to try to coffin corner it. End over end punt is going to bounce, and they could not ask for a better punt as it is down inside the 1-yard line by DeJuan Hoover.
You don't see pro teams execute like that. That was just great execution, and it's chancy. It's chancy to have a kick like that. There's the kick. Stazar. Look at the speed of St. Joe. They're back there already. Naturally, it can't bounce out of bounds. And his foot stays. Officials right there. No chalk.
Well, not far from here was the drive some years ago by John Elway and the Denver Broncos at Cleveland Stadium. Now, Bellaire trying to put together a drive of its own, complete to Maurice Jeffries.
Well, this is more than a drive. This is the incredible journey.
But would you have it any other way than to have your offense on the field with a chance here this season?
A defender.
St. Joe's trying to get an injured player off the field as time winds to 1:15.
Actually, Ryan, he tripped over the official getting over.
Davis in trouble, fumbles it in the end zone. Bellaire will dive on it, and now it's still loose as it pounds out of the end zone. And who has it?
It's still loose.
St. Joe's has it inside the Bellaire 1-yard line. Kostranchik will get credit for the fumble recovery. 1:02 left.
Nate Davis, the blocking just broke down, and a lot of pressure coming from St. Joe, but let's look at this whole sequence on a close-up. Well, the snap was clean. Davis looking out there, and he did have some time, but as he eluded his man, was stripped out of there by St. Joe, and now somehow it got forced out. Well, Franklin says, I thought I had a touchdown. Well, they can take the knee if they desire.
And they will. Savelbar.
Classy move by Tom
Very
Shallcross.
much so, yep.
Bellaire cannot stop the clock. Hard-fought win for St. Joe, coming in with 4 losses. And Bellaire, here you are, the state semifinals. You're a drive and a minute away from playing for the state championship. That's how close it was this season.
And these players and coaches from Bellaire, as a flag comes in, 30 seconds left. They will think about how close we came in the offseason, certainly. And it's a goal for these youngsters, and many of them will be back next season. A lot of key components are back for this Bellaire team. Nate Davis, Mike Fisher, just to name 2 on offense. Well, but, that's something to strive for. I mean, to get this far and to be in this position is not only a great experience on the football field, but a great life experience for these young men.
And give St. Joseph credit, Ryan, because they made enough plays when they had to.
Yep. So Valbar will fall backwards. And that kneel down will put his team into next weekend's state championship game in Massillon. And now this one not officially over.
You have a penalty marker.
A flag comes in with 6 seconds left as John Magistro just looks on, and moments like these, just speechless.
What a marvelous job he has done with this Bellaire program. When you look back, losing seasons have been kind of the exception. Bellaire has had only 2 losing seasons, actually 3 losing seasons since back in the mid-'80s.
And this will be a
15
unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on the Vikings.
As if they reset the clock to anything. Not that it matters, it's 3rd down. St. Joe really set the tone on the opening kickoff, opening drive. Chewed up all that time, had the great return. And Bellaire was kind of playing from behind Ryan the entire game.
Final score, Cleveland, Villa, St. Joseph.
Not for a lack of effort will this Bellaire team go down. The final 21-14 tonight at Canton Fawcett Stadium in what was an entertaining Division IV state semifinal. The Vikings come out on top 21-14 on the Undo scoreboard. And it's been quite a ride this season, not only from this Bellaire team, but all our teams here in the Ohio Valley. Before we say goodbye, folks, we want to pass along our players of the game. For Bellaire, Mike Fisher, what an effort, returning, catching, and running, and also on defense. He's the player of the game for Bellaire, 118 yards on the ground. And Michael Savelbar, what can you say about this young man? 20 of 30 for 250 yards. He is our player of the game.
Well, and 60 yards rushing, he single-handedly had over 300 yards of total offense.
John Magistro was in this spot in 1997, fell short of another bid to head back to the state finals, and his club will now have the off-season to try to regroup and get back next season. The final score once again, Cleveland Villa Angela St. Joseph's 21, Bellaire 14 on the Undo scoreboard. It's been a great season of high school football here in the Ohio Valley. John Simonson, some closing thoughts.
Well, again, it's the quickest 3 months we've had all year, and certainly we want to thank the viewers who have stayed with us through the weekends, the Sports Fridays, and also on these rebroadcasts. And again, you know, it was kind of a lost weekend a little bit, Ryan. We had 5 teams in the Ohio Valley, all 5 losing this weekend, but certainly not without a fight. It's always a pleasure to have anything to do broadcasting with Ohio Valley football.
Yep, and it's amazing that it's come to an end. But again, folks, thank you for tuning in this season on another season of high school football here on WTOV9. And now for John Simonson and our entire crew, I'm Ryan Recker. Thanks again for watching from Canton Fawcett Stadium. Bellaire falls by 7. Stay tuned for a performance from the Bellaire High School Marching Band.